This last week, we got the third episode of the second season of Helluva Boss, so it's time to talk about everything we know about what's coming in the next episode, when that may be, and what else to expect this season. My name is Impcut, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to talk more about Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss and other cartoons, check out our Cartoon Universe Discord server. We've got channels for all sorts of shows that you can easily sign up for with our channels and roles onboarding. On top of that, we are also holding a Discord competition with the Crew Bot. The more active you are, the more points you get, and with enough points, you can even choose a topic for us to cover in a YouTube short. Link is in the pinned comment down below. Just be sure to ask for the Big Kids role to get access to shows for adults, and I'll see you guys there. Before we got this new episode of Helluva Boss, we got a teaser containing work-in-progress shots from some of the upcoming episodes of the show. During this, we saw that there was a plan to release 4 episodes between spring and summer, with X's and O's being the first episode in this lineup. Hazbin Hotel is set to release its first season this summer as well, so I imagine these episodes will finish in early August, setting the stage for the first season of Hazbin Hotel. With that in mind, the next episode, episode 4 of season 2, will likely air around the end of April or early May. The first episode featured after the preview featuring Moxie's dad was one featuring the IMP gang dealing with Stryker, something that also appeared in the earlier trailer from 2022. After that, we got an extended preview of an episode focusing on Blitz's sister, which I expect to be episode 5 of this season. From here, episode 6 should of course come next, which I imagine to focus on Asmodeus and Fizzaroli as seen in both trailers as well. Episode 4 will almost certainly be focused on Stryker's return, which I imagine to mostly take place in the Wrath Ring again. While Stryker could presumably travel with the elevator service to other rings, he is such a Western-themed character that it wouldn't make sense to have a fun Western adventure with him anywhere else. While I imagine he will eventually be seen in other rings in future episodes, the original 2022 trailer of Helluva Boss showed him fighting Moxie and Millie in an old Western-looking mine, which some commenters have noticed featured Stolas tied to train tracks in the background. This matches footage we got from the new trailer showcasing the fight between Stryker and Moxie and Millie again, which looks even more epic in motion as opposed to the more animatic shots we got in the 2022 trailer, which were already very cool. Stella is of course the one who hired Stryker, and episode 5 of season 1 left off with him promising he'd get Stolas next time. While previously Stolas was required to travel to the Wrath Ring to perform the Harvest Moon Festival ritual, this time it appears he has been lured in by Stella and her brother Andrealphus. Andrealphus is, like Stolas, based off of one of the 72 demons in the real-life Ars Goetia, but is of lower rank than Stolas. The fact that Stella has threatened to get Andrealphus involved says a lot not about the power of his rank, but the more practical power he holds overseeing his corner of the Ars Goetia. Stolas as a prince has very ceremonial responsibilities as well as deep research to do on constellations, but it's unknown what Andrealphus does as a marquis. His real-life writings describe him as also being into astronomy, and I imagine him as wanting Stolas' more prestigious position, giving him extra incentive to murder Stolas and blame it on him for cheating on his sister. I've theorized before that Andrealphus may have his hands in the angelic weapons black market, which would explain how Stella was able to get her hands on 2 angelic guns for Stryker to use. Wrath is the Wild West. Imps are killing each other as part of fun festival games, and while there are laws, it is a lawless wasteland, as is most other parts of Hell really. But out in the desert of Wrath, it just seems like the most open and wild place where great things are smuggled in and outlaws hide out, living a traveling cowboy-type lifestyle. In addition to angelic weapons, it would make sense for other goods to be smuggled through Wrath as well, as it's the connecting ring between Pride, which houses all of the Earthborn sinners, and the other rings like Wrath that house the native demons, being just one ring below Pride. While the elevator system exists now, I imagine in the past that flying demons, as well as tall mountains, may have perhaps connected the rings to each other, and if any of these possibilities still exist, they would be largely used to smuggle goods into the Pride Ring from the lower rings of Hell, since sinners can't go there and get these blacklisted items themselves using the elevators. Additionally, it would be a way to smuggle down goods from the Pride Ring, such as angelic weapons, to the lower rings of Hell. These angelic spears are left behind once a year and picked up to be turned into black market weapons of all types, and we have no reason to believe that the exorcists fly down to the lower rings of Hell to attack the native demons who aren't even immortal, and thus aren't a threat to overpopulation, so they have to come down from the Pride Ring in some way, and are considered black market items. Whether or not Andrealphus truly has these connections, he and Stella do seem to be connected to Stryker, and seem to want to use him to kill Stolas instead of just doing it themselves. Even more interestingly, we can see that Stryker ends up kidnapping Stolas, instead of just shooting him once he's tied up, and his goal seems to be to leave him on train tracks, which, unless the train was angelic tipped, wouldn't be too much trouble for Stolas. As always, there is probably a lot of context that will go into the episode to make all of this more sensible, and I imagine it will be a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing what actually happens. So far, we've been slowly working our way to new rings of hell, with the Pride Ring being our sort of home base in both Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. Hazbin Hotel, when first written, appeared to present all of hell as what we now think of as just the Pride Ring, with the other 6 rings I imagine being later ideas from Vivziepop when she wanted to create a second show to take some of her characters to. Hazbin Hotel was designed to explore the Overlords as well as the royal family of Lucifer, and to protect that storyline without spoiling anything, the 7 Rings of Hell system was introduced, creating 6 new places that connect to Hazbin Hotel's world, but that can be explored with entirely different concepts without the Earthborn sinners' influence, as they are trapped in the Pride Ring. In Season 1, we only got small and more personal looks at the rings, such as Lululand, a theme park in the Greed Ring, or a nightclub in the Lust Ring. Wrath was the ring we actually got to see the most of, and it really was just one small part of it still. Millie's hometown is a small farming community, perhaps just one of many, but Wrath's economy is already known to be based on more than just food, as war plays a very big part in it as well. With the recent episode showing us a much bigger look at the Greed Ring and how its microculture operates, I think we'll be seeing the same of Wrath in this upcoming episode. Perhaps this episode will take us to Los Satanio, a city in Wrath visited by Vraska, according to the Vraska Band t-shirt from the Shark Robot store, which I imagine to be a bit more rich and affluent than the smaller farming communities such as the one Millie is from. That being said, I think we should also take things from the merchandise store with a grain of salt, as they might just be a little jokey, such as the Instagram accounts from the past are said to have been and may not necessarily be canon. Wrath is a southern and western themed ring, playing not just into United States cowboy culture, but also into Latin American influence, such as with Moxie's mother, or the telenovela that Stolas watches modeled after the real-life Spanish-speaking telenovelas. In addition to learning what these mines are for, as well as what Andrealphus is doing in his corner of the Ars Goetia, I hope we get to see a little bit more of this influence in the next episode as well. With that in mind, I also expect future episodes to be deeper looks into previously visited rings. While I expect rings like Envy and Sloth to eventually be visited, I feel like it might be a while before we get a look at both or any of them, as Wrath, Greed, Gluttony, and Lust seem a lot more relevant to the actual characters and overarching story. These rings are not just where our characters often come from, but even the princes of rings like Greed and Lust seem to be involved in the characters' lives, with Mammon expected to be introduced sometime soon, and Osmodius already an important start of Fizzaroli's story. This episode already looks very packed to the brim with what we do know for sure, which is a return to Wrath, a return of Stryker, and the introduction of Andrealphus, so I don't imagine we'll be seeing the Prince of Wrath Satan anytime soon. In fact, while he is referenced in the show quite a bit, I wonder if Satan may be reserved as a Hazbin Hotel character. While I don't think the 7 Rings of Hell concept was developed until later on, Lucifer and Satan are already different characters in various schools of thought, so there may have already been plans for him in Hazbin Hotel, potentially making him something Helluva Boss can often allude to, but never really show. And me personally, I think it would be cool if we had more than one Prince of Hell in Hazbin Hotel. But what do you guys think? What are your theories for episode 4 of Helluva Boss? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and while you're down there, don't forget to check out the link for our Discord server. See you guys there.